win the championship. The Detroit Pistons, as presently constructed, could win the chip. No. They got athleticism, they got defense, they got perimeter shooting, and they have a closer. Yeah. Cade Cunningham is that dude. And J.B. Pickens can coach, okay? I'm telling you, something special is brewing in the Motor City. And this is the reason why I'm so worried about them. I see teams elevating and getting good all the time. These brothers want the Knicks. They would actually be disappointed if they went to the finals and they didn't have to go through New York to do it. They want these brothers. I mean, JB comes here in the offseason.
Yes, he does.
On this show, he like, we ain't losing to them. He's losing again. I mean, you just see the fire in them. I mean, they ain't playing. And they're not playing. And so they sent the message to the Knicks last night. We coming for y'all. Mm-hmm. We coming for y'all. So guess what? I'm very...
Oh, Stephen A.Smith believed the Pistons can win the championship. And I think a lot of people correlate that to the fact that the Thunder did it with their core group, and I think, the big thing for them was Jalen Williams stepping up and being that guy. And they are team. They are a team. That's one thing. The Thunder is a team. And one thing you notice about the Pistons, they're a team. They got a close, tight-knit group in a world where, a lot of these, people today, they just not socially inclined. A lot of people just looking to get over on you, and they close knit units, you know what I'm saying? And strong leadership from the head coaches to the star players and Shea and Cade on down, and everybody want to play their position. And, that's vital in a team environment, is that everybody wants to play their position. And there's always somebody that want to play out the position. They want to be the man. And that kills me, when somebody want to be the man but don't have the work ethic or have the skills to be the man. But, yeah, it's very possible the Pistons go win the championship as is. Like I said, the NBA has more parity than you've seen in the Thunder going through their rough stretch right now. I think before Wednesday, Tuesday or Monday, they lost 5. They lost 5 of their last 10, so they've been 500. But you're gonna go through ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? Rough stretches, and this is why you want to put as much space between you and the competition. So early on, that's why it's imperative to get off to a hot start in the NBA. But therefore you have room for error. You know what I mean? And the Pistons got off to a hot start, knocked that rust off, and then you want to get off to a finish, where you healthy and you getting into rhythm. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's possible. I believe it's possible. I agree with, Stephen A. Smith. You got a player in Cade. You got a lot of people that play their position. Javonte Green, who has been a godsend. You lose Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., you get him. I mean, he's been doing his thing. Asar Thompson starting to pick it up. Ron starting to pick it up. Ivy starting to get more minutes and get in the rhythm. He looks like himself, but I don't think they want to chance any setbacks. So he's scoring and shooting the ball well. So they looking good. Dern is doing his thing. And so, it's interesting. But, yeah, it's highly possible that they can actually execute that and get it done. The NBA is so young that, it ain't a lot of people who got experience. A lot of these guys coming into the league 18, 19, and they don't teach how to play basketball no more. Really, you learn to play basketball in college. You learn how to attack the zone, and you learn how to pass the ball and run sets. That's why you see a lot of the NBA players recently struggle internationally. It's not that the international players, the talent level, it is that a little bit that they caught up, but it's the fact that a lot of these kids don't go to college no more. And college is the military style of basketball, because when you compare a traditional zone with a shot clock, you can't just beat that zone by one-on-one play. You have to kick, pass, box out, get offensive rebounds, shoot people out the zone. That's how you defeat the zone. Drive and kick, penetrate and kick. Those is how you beat the zones, and you don't have to do that in the NBA. The NBA, they did implement probably about 20 plus years ago, a matchup zone, but it's not a traditional zone. A matchup zone, you still must be playing the player. You just can't play the ground. You know what I'm saying? You just can't play an area. You got to play a player in the traditional zone. You can play the area without having to be able to play a player. So college, a lot of those college kids, they go through the system, they smart. They learn to play the game. So really the experience level, you got a lot of guys who got to change their whole game. You go from your whole life to being the guy, being the man on the court. Now in the NBA, you gotta find your niche. You gotta be 3-and-D. You gotta be a facilitator. You gotta be a garbage truck guy. And I think people would be surprised if we were to hoop with the average NBA player and you think that was trash, they will totally obliterate us. And even you LA Fitness hooping ninjas, or you dudes who hoop on a regular, like, there's no comparison, bro. It's no comparison. So, but yeah, I think it's possible it can happen. Back in the day when the league was more mature and more skilled, you had to go through the rites of passage like the Pistons did, and you had to go through the rites of passage. The Bills had to go through it. Spurs, Lakers, Shaq and Kobe, and them. With the league being so young, you don't have to go through the rites of passage as much anymore. The Thunder went through their thing and they had to learn to win, but it's not as lengthy as it once was. You know what I mean? I remember, Pistons spent half they, 80, 90% of their tenure together getting to the title. And that's what it used to be when the league was competitive, the league was skilled, the league was a physical league, the reign on top, it didn't really last long. That's why the Bulls was an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? Shaq and Kobe last team to three-peat. That was an anomaly. You may never see nothing like that again because today's players don't have the attrition or the physicality or the durability to do that. That was the thing about it. But yeah, it's possible, man. The Thunder's a good team. The Nuggets are an experienced team. You had Jokic out a little bit. The Rockets, they may make a move. They just need a lead guard. But I don't look at the West too much better than the East. And the West just got names. Curry. I like Minnesota. I think at some point they'll pick it up. Ant and them maybe make a move. But you just got Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? You just got names. Kevin Durant, Alperen Sengun, if I said this right. Sengun, I like him a lot. Who else you got out there? Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. You just got names. DeRozan, Levine, Russ, Devin Booker, Jalen Green. You just got names out west. But when you look at the teams, they ain't too far off. The Thunder is the Thunder. They the standard. I think Minnesota, Denver, and Houston, that's it. That's it. That's the only teams you pretty much worry about. And, out east, obviously, they make it seem like it's a Knick and a Piston thing. But, Boston is right there. And Toronto getting it together. I like what Toronto doing. So, and then you got Philly on the rise. Everybody in Philly being healthy right now. So, yeah, you got some teams that's cooking right now. Orlando getting it together. I like Orlando a lot, even though that's our rivals. So, yeah, it's real possible the Pistons can do it, but it ain't never easy. Cleveland in the AC right now. I'm pretty sure a pending move is probably coming in Cleveland to get them over the top. So, check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live and drop a video. Follow me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, the whole nine. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.